Hello and welcome to this GBN Multimedia Sportscast. I'm Derek Franklin. In today's edition, we will be covering the Chicago Bulls playoff run as we recap Game 1 and 2 and preview Game 3. So let's start off with Game 1, and it certainly wasn't a very enjoyable one for the Chicago Bulls as they were routed by the Brooklyn Nets 106-89, and it certainly wasn't the start that Chicago fans were looking for in this playoff series. Now, the Bulls were without Derrick Rose in Game 1 as he looks doubtful for the rest of the series, and I think that may have hurt the Bulls a little bit. I think that, everyone was a little bit crushed that Derrick Rose wasn't going to be able to play, and it hurt the team's self-esteem a little bit. Another issue was the foot of Joakim Noah, who's been suffering from plantar fasciitis this entire year. Now, Noah had to play limited minutes, and it definitely hurt the Chicago Bulls as they were destroyed in the paint, as the Nets were really able to get whatever they wanted inside. Now, a big force for Brooklyn in that game was Deron Williams, who had 22 points, 2 rebounds, and 7 assists. Now, Williams did not play great basketball in the first half of the year, but in the second half, he has really come on and been the superstar that everyone expected him to be. If the Bulls are going to have any success in this series, they're going to need to stop Deron Williams, who really just had his way with Chicago in Game 1. So with the Bulls dropping the first game 106-89, that left them down 1-0 in the series, and that made Game 2 even that much more important. Down 1-0 in the series to the Nets, Game 2 basically became a must-win for the Chicago Bulls, as if they were to go down 2-0 in the series going back home to Chicago, things were not looking good, especially with an injured Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose, who's not even playing at the moment. So Game 2 was a huge win for the Chicago Bulls as they prevailed 90-82 over the Brooklyn Nets, and it was a story of defense, hustle, and grit. Joakim Noah had to play limited minutes, but he had a tremendous effort as he just was all over the place defensively, hustling for loose balls and really showing the Nets that the Bulls wanted this more than they did in Game 2. Another huge performance was by Kirk Hinrich, who only had 13 points, but besides those 13 points, he was able to shut down Deron Williams in Game 2 and not let him have the game that he had in Game 1, which was absolutely huge. Now, playing well for the Brooklyn Nets was Brook Lopez, who had 4 straight jumpers in the first half, which kept Brooklyn in the game. But the Bulls were really able to prevail in the second half by holding the Nets to a lot of outside shots and playing tremendous defense. Not to mention Luol Deng, who came back from a bad Game 1 performance to have 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists, which was absolutely huge for the Chicago Bulls. So now, with the series tied 1-1, that is absolutely huge for the Chicago Bulls as they are going back to Chicago, going to have home court advantage for the rest of the series, and are really in the driver's seat. If they play their game, I think everybody is confident that they can prevail in this series to go face the Miami Heat. Game 3 is an incredibly critical game for both teams. Whoever prevails in this one is going to have a ton of momentum for the rest of the series and has a great shot of going on to play Miami. Now, the X factor for the Nets tonight, for me, is Joe Johnson. If Johnson can play like he is capable of playing and be the star that he has often shown he can be, the Bulls are going to have a tough time winning this game. Having 16 points in Game 1 and 17 points in Game 2, the Bulls have done a fairly nice job of limiting Johnson as he has not been able to crack 20 points in either of the 2 games. Now, the last time Joe Johnson played in the United Center in the playoffs was as a member of the Atlanta Hawks as he torched Chicago in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference playoffs a couple years ago. Now, Johnson is a member of the Nets now, and will he be able to do the same thing? We are not sure, but if he can, the Bulls are going to have a very tough time. Now, actually, the X factor for the Bulls for me is not even a starter, a guy who wasn't even supposed to play that much this year. His name is center Nazr Muhammad. Muhammad is going to be charged with having a big role tonight as Joakim Noah won't be able to play all the minutes he usually does due to his nagging foot injury. So when Nazr Muhammad comes in, he's going to have to shut down Brook Lopez and the rest of the Brooklyn Nets big guys. Now, he was able to do that in Game 2, had a tough time doing it in Game 1. I think the story of tonight is whether Nazr Muhammad can shut them down when Noah has to go to the bench. And if he can, I see no reason why the Bulls do not win this game. And also, you got to watch out for Luol Deng. Game 1 had a terrible game. Bulls were blown out. Game 2 comes back with 15 points, 10 rebounds. So, if he's able to have a Game 2 performance as opposed to Game 1, look for the Bulls to win this game at home with the United Center home court advantage. My prediction, a close victory for the Chicago Bulls by, I believe, 5 points. We'll see if it comes true tonight as the Bulls take on the Brooklyn Nets in Game 3. I'm Derek Franklin, and this has been a GBN Multimedia Sportscast.